Take two.
It's just another technology day. There we go. Back
But
to
there's no
normal.
echo, so it's okay. But no, I
I
sent out the link to everybody this morning in the email. We had one, somebody was watching us, and oh well, hopefully they will find us anyway.
It's all good. It's all good. We get to move on. We get to move on.
Yes. So,
Anywho, well, today is Tuesday after a adventurous wolf full moon last night. I want to hear all about your experience.
it was incredible. So, um, I don't remember when exactly something triggered. I saw all of a sudden I had this, I have to do the cacao ceremony in the sweat lodge. And, because Chief had, when we first built the thing, he's like, yeah, you can use it. Have women circle in here, do stuff in here. And I was like, okay. But, like the sweat lodge itself is, I'm like, it's like church. It's like going into a sanctuary. And so
Yeah.
I'm always like tiptoeing, like, I don't want to offend anybody or do anything wrong. So I reached out to Chief and I'm like, I had this vision of doing the cacao ceremony this month in the sweat lodge. Is that okay? And he's like, yes, of course, absolutely. But also, of course, my vision was just like mystical, magical. And so, and then Matthew from Temple Medicine, lately he's been leading the meditations for my cacao ceremonies. And it's pretty much because of him that the sweat lodge exists in my backyard. And I tell him, this is what I want to do. And he's like, but the dirt, because the floor of the sweat lodge is just, well, it's Florida, so it's sand.
Earth. Yeah.
It's earth. And I'm like, no, I'm going to handle all of that. It's going to be clean. It's going to be wonderful. And he's like, okay, if you say so. So anyway,
Yeah, I don't know if I would trust it either.
I spent 3 days Juliettifying the sweat lodge. And so I covered the floor there were beach towels, there were sheets, and then there were fluffy, fuzzy blankets. So,
Ooh.
yes. So you weren't touching dirt. And I even had like another blanket like leading in. So it wasn't like by the time you entered, like even if there was dirt on your feet, the dirt was already cleaned off. So everybody was wonderfully clean and comfortable inside. I had fairy lights all through the rafters. I had hanging crystals. And then in the center where we normally put the rocks, it was full of crystals and candles and flowers. And yes,
Beautiful.
it couldn't have been more magical. And we had a bonfire. And so I had everybody, before coming, like write down everything that they wanted to release. And so we released it into the fire, smudged everybody before they came in. We set our intentions and drank our cacao, and it was just magical is the only word that I can use to describe it. And I'm completely physically exhausted. Like, I don't know if anybody truly understands how much work it was to create that, but it was worth every drop of sweat, every aching muscle, my fatigue. It was all completely worth it. And on top of this, so I think we talked about a little bit last week that my roommate from college, first year when I lived in the dorms, she attended our virtual vision board course last week. And a couple days after that, I see she booked a ticket for the cacao ceremony. And I was just like, wait, what? Like, does she think it's virtual or is she flying down here? And so I talked to her a couple days after that, and she's like, yeah, I'm flying down. And so here I'm like, no pressure. Like, it's just a cacao ceremony.
Amazing.
And I asked her afterwards, I was like, so was it worth
was it worth it?
Milwaukee to attend this cacao ceremony? She's like, 100%. I loved it. So, wherever you are in the world watching this, like, fly in for my next cacao ceremony.
It's true. I mean, these days, the world is flat. Like we can get from one place to another so easily and so conveniently. And the truth is, what's the price tag on feeling community and feeling magical and having an experience with someone that trust, we talk about it all the time. Like I have clients that fly to me and I always think, do you know how many other photographers you're flying over? Like you're literally flying over all the other photographers. But I do the same thing, right? When I want a particular experience, I will go where I need to go. My photography coach was living in New York, which was easy to get to from Florida. And then she moved to California. And I was like, okay, we're going to California, like, again, how many coaches I flew over, on the way there, but that's the one that I like. That's the one that I bond with. That's the one that teaches me the way I need to be taught. So I think it's absolutely amazing. And I'm so excited for you. And I'm so glad you got to use the sweat lodge in that way. How wonderful.
Yeah. Two other things. So one, like I limited because, I didn't want people to feel squished or whatever inside there because it's small. So we were 16 people. And when we were all done, a couple of people said to me, oh, I would happily squeeze in to bring more people into this experience. I'm like, okay, I need to order more mugs from Cheryl because I only have 14 mugs. Even with that, we were 16 last night. So all the participants had regular mugs and Matthew and I had, ordinary mugs. But, and we're going to talk about
special,
mugs in
Julietta. They're all mugs are special. All mugs matter. I love them all.
Well, I do want to share one more thing about the evening, and then I do have a mug experience here for you. But also, we, because we had the fire, and so I also got marshmallows and chocolate bars and graham crackers, and we made s'mores afterwards, which was
nice.
Just like even more extra, like it just brought back like childhood memories. Like, when's the last time you made a s'more? So that made it extra fun and wonderful. But
very cool.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready for the big mug reveal. Let's see. You ordered it. Oh
no, I did not order it.
Tell me about this.
Someone gifted this to me, and I'm gonna say, I'm just it popped up all over social media in the ads.
Yes.
And everyone was like sending it to me, and I'm like, my spidey senses say no. And like on camera, this thing looks great. And the person that got it for me, she's like, I didn't think it was going to look like this. She's like, I actually wanted to return it and get you a different mug, but she couldn't return it. So she's like, so you're getting both. So I have another pretty mug that she got me. And then I told her, but I'm still going to use this one on the podcast. But, it's not crystal. And the pictures on the social, like it looked like it was actual real crystal. This is whatever. And the edge is so wide. I didn't take a drink out of this yet. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to physically drink out of this, but I'm going to try.
You're going to have to put an entire crystal in your mouth to have a napkin nearby, because who knows? It looks like you're drinking out of a Jurassic mug.
It's nearly I need this cacao really bad this morning, so I am going to drink this. But it's like you can't even put your mouth around the edge.
Right.
Like you have to make a seal with your bottom lip on the edge and then hope that it doesn't spill anywhere. So if you see me with cacao dripping down.
I was just going to say, have a napkin nearby. I feel like you're going to need it. But who knows? Maybe that could be a pencil holder or a little plant vase or something like that.
But it's fun. So shout out to Mary. Thank you so much for my Christmas gift. I love it.
It is gorgeous though. And same thing. The algorithm gets me all the time. It knows me so well. And I saw that ad a million times and I was like, man, how could that be real? Like it can't be real, So
it's not. It's not.
Yeah, I've been scammed out of, I think, how much was it? It was like over 200, I think, for this really cool dress that I wanted. I ordered 2 things off this website. One of them came, which exactly as expected, but the $200, like the $20 item came, but the $200 item did not come. And by the time I figured out that it was never coming, it was too late to get my money back. And so anyway, I just donated that to the,
Caution out there
economy
to
of whatever
everybody.
country.
If it looks too good to be true, it is.
I mean, I don't know. I look pretty good and I'm real. So, yeah. I don't know, I don't know. So, I mean, I will tell you, during COVID, it was all about the algorithm and Facebook was hitting me hard. And I got a lot of cool things during COVID. Certain skincare, a certain brand of purses, a certain makeup, like all of these things ended up being exactly, what it looked to be. So I think I've probably got like a 60-40 success rate at this point.
Well, what I will say,
Yeah.
like, we're intuitive beings. Like, my intuition told me there is no way this mug is right. And so I did not order it. But,
Yeah.
Women, we do need to tune in and say, like, is this
Yeah.
really what it is? I don't know.
I've been very lucky so this is today's mug, and it's
It looks like
not
it's
real
shiny.
wood, it's not real wood, but it is handcrafted pottery. And I've been very lucky. Like I've gotten mugs from England and Ireland and all over the US. And some of them are pricey. Some of them are like $90, for the mug, which is a bit for a vessel. But it's handcrafted, and I just feel like, somebody went through all that work, like putting in all those little details, and I would probably charge more if it were me. But anyway, I think my phone has been listening because the other day it advertised me some of the most beautiful mugs I have ever seen in my life. And I was like, oh my God. And then I clicked on it and the price tag was like $850. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I can't. Like, I can be bougie in a lot of things, but first of all, I'm not bringing anything that's breakable into this house with children and all the people that live here because, it's my spouse and 2 children and it feels like 50 people live here. So yeah, I'm not bringing those things here, not until my kids are done doing dishes.
Right?
Yeah. But anyway, all good, all good. Well, I will tell you that I was all set to host my full moon cacao ceremony here. The moon last night here was well, I suppose it was your same moon too, but it was a fairly clear night, and so it was absolutely gorgeous out. Someone on Facebook was like, "It's like daylight out here," it was so bright. And the snow on the ground has been melting and refreezing, and so conditions were just not optimal for being on the road. Again, those of you from Wisconsin, from Chicago, from New York, I know it snows more where you are. I know you go to work every day. I get it. Here, we don't because it doesn't happen. So we don't have that much salt. We don't clean things that much. Like we're just not ready for it. Plus, when I moved here, everyone was like, oh, it barely snows anymore. Like we never have anything. If it does, it goes away in a day or two. Well, I think I'm like on day 4 of not leaving the house. My driveway is pretty steep. And that's just me. I actually think my house is pretty easy to get in and out of compared to some of these, really high mountaintop homes. So anyway, we ended up having to cancel last night, but I did have my own little ceremony at home, which was wonderful. Got to go through my whole, routine. And I did have to wait for everyone to go to sleep. So I did do the evening cacao. I think we talked about this on the last episode. You know, normally I'm a cacao in the morning kind of girl, and I enjoy the energy that it gives me. And I always tell people cacao will give you whatever you want from it. However you need to be supported, that's what you ask for, and that's what you'll get. And so me taking a ceremonial dose somewhere around midnight last night, really, like it was so energetic and so powerful. And I had the best sleep of my life. Like every single time I say I need to rest, or tonight when I rest, I need to get these answers, and I always get what I'm looking for. Really. It's like literally 100% success rate every single time. Cacao has never let me down. And then also last night I put out a pitcher of water, wanted to make myself some moon water. This morning I have moon ice, because temperatures are freezing, but eventually it'll melt. And I'm excited that it's got Reiki in it, and it's got some of the moonlight in it, and it's got some of this my first snow here, my first big snow. And that will always be part of that water. So I'm excited. There's lots of cool stuff coming up. Lots of events on the calendar. Yeah, I'm super excited.
I will also say, because at the time going in, like, I didn't know that you had to cancel your cacao ceremony, but we did talk about that, that you would be doing a cacao ceremony up there at the same time we were doing a cacao ceremony. So our energies were going to be amplified even more. And so they were all really excited about that. And then, yeah, we're a little sad to find out that you didn't have a group, but you were still connected to us anyway.
Oh, totally. Like when I sat down with my cacao, I was like, okay, peeps, I'm there, So yeah, we're all still very much connected. And I love getting all the little messages and seeing the comments through social media. And I'm just going to reiterate, when I came up here and when I was leaving South Florida, I said, I really want to make this a destination. And this week I'm going to put out kind of like a little travel guide and things like that. I've already had a ton of people book photo shoots and experiences and stuff like that. So I'm excited. And I'm excited for June. I keep talking about it, but I'm really excited for our retreat in June. That's going to be such an incredible getaway.
Yes. I got a cacao mustache. I think we could start our own campaign, Got Cacao, with our little cacao mustache.
There you go.
So our topic today is, what is your advice for someone afraid to express themselves creatively? And I resonate so deeply with this, because for so many years, I didn't allow myself to be creative. And finally I was just busting. And so it's expressed itself in my soul candy, wire wrapped crystal structures and painting and the malas, and the list goes on. But what was funny to me was when I sat down to figure out, like, what was it that was like blocking me from feeling okay to express my creativity. And one day, like, the story came back to me. I don't remember how old I was. I'm guessing like 9 or 10 or something. There was a girl that lived across the street that was like 2 years older than me. And her dad had agreed to allow her and I to build like a fort clubhouse in the attic of the garage. And so, like, we went up there and we like arranged things and we decorated and da-da-da-da. And
was it a crystal palace?
Well, I didn't have crystals back then, but yeah, if it was modern day, I'm like, yeah, would for sure be a crystal palace. But at some point we're like, oh, I don't think we called it a logo, but like, we need a logo for our club. And so we were sitting there like drawing and trying to figure stuff out. And we came up with a swastika. Now, neither of us knew what it was. Like, we just like, and this speaks to the how the swastika is an ancient spiritual symbol. And the fact that, the Nazis took it and ruined the value of this, and is also very deeply connected to the goddess. But so anyway, we created the symbol. We're like, yeah, this is cool. I like this. It's like amazing that these two young girls who didn't know what a swastika was created one on our own.
Right.
And then we were drawing it like on our hands. And so I go home.
So how long before a grown-up saw you?
I get home and my mom is like, what is that on your head? And I'm like, oh, it's the symbol of our club. And she's like, no, it's not. You need to watch that. And so I realized like that was the story of my fear of creating, because I might create something bad.
Yeah.
Something that other people judged as bad. It's like, oh my God. So
That's
now I know my
amazing.
story. Now I'm free to create and having a good time doing it.
I'm hoping that there was an end to your swastika days. I presume.
We just washed them off, threw them away. There were no more swastikas. And then later, as I got older and learning history, it was like, oh,
yeah, it's that's actually a very interesting story. Because it's not a intuitive symbol, so to speak, right? Like kids circles
but on
and
some
squares
level,
and things like that.
Where did it come from in the beginning?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, right. Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. Wow. Well, for me, what my advice is for someone afraid to express themselves is to, honestly, like lock yourself in your room and do it by yourself. Like just because you create something doesn't mean you have to put it out for the whole world to see. I was thinking this morning of Vivian Mayer, I think is her name. She's the photographer in I want to say New York. That after she died, they found like thousands and thousands of photographs of herself and of the city of New York. And she never showed not one person while she was living. So she really didn't become famous until after she died. And somebody went through all her stuff and they found thousands. So, it really, does it make it more or less valuable? Did she do it for her own satisfaction? Was she even satisfied? I don't know. Same thing with Van Gogh, right? Like Van Gogh just painted and he was like, I don't care if nobody likes my stuff. But we all know Van Gogh didn't sell not one painting while he was alive. And now look. So, not everything has to be monetized. Not everything has to be admired. Not everything has to be appreciated by someone else to have value. My grandmother used to find rocks while she would go on walks. And she would always see something in the rock. And so then she would take like nail polish and paint the picture that she saw. So she had one rock that was like a poodle and another one was something else and, like a turtle or whatever. And so she had this little menagerie on her windowsill. And as kids, that made us happy and it made her happy. Like, how much more happy do we need? Isn't that enough happy? Do I need to make, $1 billion off of it for it to be valuable? So I think creativity is vital in that you have to be calm and quiet and at peace to create. You can't create in the midst of your mind feeling overwhelmed. So I think the purpose of creativity is to calm your nervous system. It's to channel information that you hadn't thought of before. It's to see things in a new way. And if someone else happens to enjoy looking at it, amazing. But, is it necessary? Not really. Not really.
The other thing too I want to just talk about with creativity is, so often we connect creativity with artistic pursuits. Whether it be painting or making music or poetry or, something along those lines. And creativity is also like what created houses and cars and, mugs that we drink from and computers that we're working on. And so creativity comes in so many different forms. And I also want to speak to the fact that, like, creativity is a feminine energy. Not that men can't create, because both men and women have both masculine and feminine energies. But, we talk so much about how, the world is very patriarchal, is very masculine right now. And the world does need more feminine energy. And so if you are, speaking for myself, like, I operated so much in masculine energy for most of my adult life. And being able to tap into my creativity and nurture that is part of what helped me bring back more feminine energy into my life. And so we need to restore the balance here, so the more people can work with their creativity in whatever form that looks like, it will help heal you, and it will help heal the planet as well. Not the planet, but the humans.
The other day I went to a sound bath that was followed by an intuitive painting session, and it kind of just flowed one into the other. So when you went into the painting portion of it, there was no talking. You just did your sound bath, slowly came to, and then painted whatever came to you, what you saw, what you thought, or I don't know, what was on your mind, your grocery list, whatever, it doesn't matter. So afterwards, we had a little sharing circle, and there was a gentleman. Now, I've done things like this before, right? And my my painting is definitely for myself. It is not for the consumption of other people. Like my daughter, she has an absolute natural gift. What she paints, it looks like someone else might like it. What I paint looks like a 4-year-old did it, and it should stay in the closet. Now, there was a gentleman there who was probably boomer age, and full camo gear, like boots, a very manly man, very masculine, that protective energy, and he did the sound bath, and he sat up and he did his painting, and he was like, this is the first time I've ever painted. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so impressed. Like, the painting itself was just like the rest of ours, it was a crude representation of whatever was going on in his head. I mean, we did it in like 20 minutes or whatever. But the fact that he tried something new, at any age. And I don't know, I just thought it was really, really cool. And, it's really, it's amazing what you can get out when you are, pushed to be creative. The experience that I had was actually based on a project that the artist is doing within prison systems. And so she goes into prisons and meets with the inmates and have them do painting projects, and the whole gallery showing was all of these different artworks. The artworks are out and free, but the artists are incarcerated, so it was really a very, very interesting exhibit. And to, again, what you might not be able to say with words, you can say in another way, whether it's, painting or carving a piece of wood, I don't know, whatever. Like you said, it doesn't have to be that particular way, but there's so much that you can release by simply creating it and naming it and then letting go. So I do think creativity is a vital part of healing too, for sure.
Absolutely. Woo. All right. This has been long because we had our false start, and we're on a whole nother half hour. So I think it's time to release our audience and let them go have a creative day. And if this podcast inspired you to create something, we'd love to hear about that. Share your experience with us. And this is also it's inspiring me a little bit to think about how I can add creation into some of our events. So anyway,
always something new on the horizon.
Always. So All right. Have a magical day, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.